step up in big-time games.
When the lights are the brightest, the pressure is the greatest. The clutch performers deliver their best.
Going up top for Eddie Brown. What a catch!
They are some of the CFL's most iconic and dramatic moments.
This stuff that it only happens in the movies or on Grey Cup Sunday.
We're counting down the top 10 plays in Grey Cup history next. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another SportsCentre Top 10 special. I'm Darren Detition. We are glad that you tuned in. The Grey Cup was donated by Earl Grey in 1909, and it's seen some crazy moments and some amazing plays. During the course of the next half hour, we're going to count down the top 10 Grey Cup plays, so let's get at it as we begin with number 10.
FLUTIE still looking for his first touchdown in the Grey Cup Classic. First and goal, Tiger Cats, McManus into the end zone.
The defensive back was grabbing me, grabbing my left arm, so I only had one hand to basically reach out and catch the ball, and it was in the back of the end zone.
Touchdown! There's the touchdown for Darren FLUTIE.
I didn't catch it, flush. It didn't just stick to my hand. It just kind of bounced off, so I had to keep trying to bring it in with one hand.
Look at that one-hand grab. I mean, that is a remarkable catch. Chadwick Chris is going, what do I have to do?
Forget Batman, that was a superhero catch.
The whole Batman nickname came about just in 1999, and basically for that Grey Cup. Because my son Troy was so into Batman, I wanted to do something that he could remember. So I went into, after I would score a touchdown, I wasn't big on touchdown dances or anything, but I'd go into this Batman like had my cape, and he could relate to that, and he would point out, Daddy, Batman, Batman.
But what an excellent, excellent catch and concentration by Darren FLUTIE.
He always came up with the big plays, the big time when he needed to, always.
I've had a lot of kind of one-handed catches through my career that were big, but that one sticks out.
Henry the Gizmo Williams, always dangerous. They'll try to get him the ball. They better not relax after they kick this ball if it's wide.
When Lance Turner was getting ready to kick the ball, I was watching him right before doing pregame, and I noticed he missed the ball to the right a lot.
This attempt from the right hash marks, and he again missed it to the right.
I saw the first guy come down the football field, and it was a lineman, and I knew I could beat him. And once I made him miss, it was a wide open field to run through.
GIZMO has a block and the sideline. He has not stepped out. He may go all the way. He needs one block, and he'll do it easily.
If you give him a crack or a crease, he's going to take it and do great things for you.
Henry GIZMO Williams with Melissa chasing him. Scores. You can keep punts away from him, but the only way not to kick a field goal to him is to make the field goal.
The Gizmo doesn't think there's a faster man in football than the Gizmo.
I think it was a big part of the game. You know, anytime you can get a play on special team, it's always a bonus.
We all take responsibility for allowing that kick to be returned, because that was game determining. Without that kick, we would have won that game. And it's funny, when we get together, we talk about it, and we kind of relive those nightmare moments.
Well, we knew he could do it.
But this is just downright unbelievable.
I wish it never happened. I don't appreciate it at all. I wish he had tripped.
1948 Grey Cup, Ottawa and Calgary, just seconds left in the second quarter when the Stamps run the sleeper play. Norm Hill runs to the far sideline and flops on the field, going undetected by the Rough Riders.
Keith Space pitches a wobbly pass. Hill takes it on the 2. He's over. Bobbles it. It's a touchdown.
It was a complete surprise to, I think, both teams, and the people on the bench didn't know that he was going to do that. We all tried to be very quiet and not recognize that he was on the sidelines, but it worked well and was very important in that game.
Calgary went on to win its first ever Grey Cup. The sleeper play was banned in 1961.
Alouettes down by a pair of touchdowns, but they've got something going. CALVILLO up top, Ben Cahoon, and that's why he's the top Canadian in the CFL. What a catch!
This is just an outstanding effort by Ben Cahoon.
I don't remember, the ball in the air or anything. I just remember kind of laying out and coming down with it.
When I let it go, I thought it was overthrown. I was like, man, okay, just go on to the next down. All of a sudden, he puts his arm out, stretched out, and I saw how spectacular it was when it happened.
What an outstanding catch. Watch the right hand just go up and cradle that football, bringing it back in, and all the cover guy can do is say, get back in the huddle.
Pat Woodcock turned to Ben Cahoon and said, that's the best catch I've ever seen.
That's one of the catches that stand out in my mind when people ask, what are the catches that stand out for Ben? It's something I'm always going to remember.
Those are the catches you grow up dreaming about. You practice them as you throw the ball up and dive and land on your bed in your bedroom when you're a kid, and you dream about those catches at night.
Still to come, an OT winner, a flying object.
I thought for sure it was a snowball, but then the snowball kind of spun around and everything. That was the weirdest snowball I've ever seen.
And a play so controversial, people still debate it more than 50 years later. Stick around, the top 6 is next. Welcome back to the show. As a punt returner and receiver at Notre Dame, Raheem the Rocket Ismail was voted as one of the top 100 players in U.S. college football history. And as a CFLer and our Grey Cup countdown, he comes in at number 6. Now, he was slick and he was fast, and he had to be after a foolish fan launched a beer bomb in the 1991 Grey Cup.
We've got a one-point ball game with 10:39 remaining in this 79th edition of the Grey Cup Classic here at Winnipeg Stadium. The Rocket looks for a hole. If he gets to the outside this time, he's gone. Goodbye.
It was one of those things when Rocket Ismail had a step, it may as well have been 50 yards. When he got a step in front, there was absolutely no stopping him.
The Rocket delivers the $1 Million Man.
And when he sees a seam, I mean, it is over. I mean, he takes that seam and puts on the afterburners. There's nobody that can catch him.
Bruce McNall, who made the investment in the Rocket, is going to get a return perhaps today.
It wasn't just the biggest play in the game. It was a statement of his worth, of his value, of the reason we brought him here, of his ability and talent and what he meant, not just to that game, but to our team and, in fact, the entire league.
For Raghib Ismail, that is a Grey Cup record, the longest kickoff return ever, 87 yards. Now the snowball falls close to the Rocket, but even that can't prevent him from celebrating.
Did something go on the field? Right? It's kind of one of those things that, did that just happen?
I thought it was a snowball. I thought for sure it was a snowball, but then the snowball kind of spun around and everything. That was the weirdest snowball I've ever seen.
When people talk about it, it's always a part of the story. It was poetic justice when the beer can came onto the field, because the beer bottle came, and it was that the whole thing. When you look at it, it was nothing can stop it. Not even a flying object.
Time remaining unofficially 3.5 minutes. Montreal 25, Edmonton 20.
Sam Etchebay was marching the Alouettes down the field and handed the ball off to Chuck Hunsinger as halfback.
Hunsinger nailed behind the line of scrimmage. Tries a lateral, the ball is loose.
I think he was attempting to maybe pass the ball, but he had it in his hands and it fell out. So that's naturally it's a fumble.
It is Jackie Parker. Jackie Parker in this stadium is going crazy.
It was just a matter of running it down the field, and it turned into being quite a play.
Jackie Parker, who picked up that loose ball, that Chuck Hunsinger threw away on a wild lateral.
The only guy that had a chance to catch him was Sam Etchebay, and he wasn't going to catch Jackie Parker.
I will always say that it was not a fumble. That was an illegal forward pass, and I'll believe that for the rest of my life.
Montreal always claims that Hunsinger was lateraling or passing. He passed forward, passed the ball, but we always claim it was a fumble, so I think you have to look back at the pictures. It was ruled a fumble, and the way it turned out, it was great for us.
It was jubilation, it was joy, it was happiness to win. But you know, it really didn't hit you till a few days later.
For the first time in Grey Cup history, a game goes into overtime.
Bombers ball 17 and a half yards away from pay dirt. And Plain, if he can get away, will go for it.
I dropped back to throw a hook pass or something, and one of our ends got knocked down coming off the line of scrimmage. I found nobody open, and I just instinctively took off running.
He's into the end zone for a touchdown, and a sensational one by Kenny Plain. The Bombers move into a 20-14 edge.
There was no plan or anything to it. It just happened. I headed down the sideline, got some great blocks from my players, and was able to walk into the end zone with that winning touchdown.
It was spectacular in the sense that it was a touchdown. They won the Grey Cup, and that was a cause for celebration out west. But that's the kind of player that Plain was.
A dramatic climax to the first overtime Grey Cup game.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking from the point of view of we lost the game, but it was a great play by him.
For a championship game and being able to score the touchdown as I did at the end of the game in overtime definitely was a highlight, no question.
Straight ahead, some of the most legendary catches in the history of the Canadian game.
Gabriel is open in the end zone. Touchdown!
Plus, they're the blunders that define careers and decided championships.
Illegal substitution, too many men on the field. Saskatchewan.
The Grey Cup's most heartbreaking moments are still to come.
Down 122 from a year ago. Great sideline catch by Frank Pillow. Diving for the throw from Danny McManus.
Calvillo tries to go to work in the air. Woodcock's got it. And look out, Pat Woodcock could go. Only Malcolm Frank, he's not going to get there. And the Canadian speedster has a 99-yard touchdown in the 90th Grey Cup.
You do not win a Grey Cup without great plays, and in 1976, the Ottawa Roughriders and the Saskatchewan Roughriders met in the Coupe de Grey. The game went back and forth, and it was filled with great drama, and that's when Tony Gabriel made the catch. I was 10. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I cried at the time. I still might be crying about it. Here's play number 3.
24 yards and 31 seconds away from a Grey Cup comeback victory.
Ronnie Lancaster was playing quarterback for Saskatchewan at the time. The game's ending, and he is yelling. He says at the top of his voice, "Watch Gabriel, watch Gabriel."
Gabriel is open in the end zone. Touchdown! And the Ottawa fans and players are going crazy. Ottawa may have just taken a victory over Saskatchewan in the final 20 seconds.
Lo and behold, he walks right into the end zone like as wide open as could be, like everybody closed their eyes.
All I could see is that ball coming down, and it took so long to get there.
And no bigger catch in his life. Look at the time that Clemons has to throw the football. He beat Ted Provost, the safety of Saskatchewan, number 10. You have to wonder how they can let a man like that loose on a late drive downfield.
Everybody remembers that catch. If you ask anybody about a play and a catch, it was that one. It was an amazing play to see how wide open he was at that stage of the game, and knowing he was the go-to guy.
It's all over, and the Ottawa Roughriders have upset Saskatchewan and won the 1976 Grey Cup.
It meant, a lot to the Ottawa team because, we hadn't won a Grey Cup since Frank Clare left, and it was, the town went wild. We had parades in the street here. We had all kinds of things happening.
When we look back, it was the last Grey Cup that Ottawa won.
First down, Edmonton with the football. McManus going up top for Eddie Brown.
It looked looks like the ball is incomplete, right? So no sweat, and then all of a sudden, something crazy is happening.
What a catch! Eddie Brown! Touchdown, Edmonton!
Somebody with instant replay right now. Something is wrong here.
I caught the ball. Adrian slapped it out of my hand, and I don't know what made me do it, but I just kicked the ball. I think it was out of frustration. Next thing I know, it came straight back up in my face, and the rest was history.
64 yards. McManus to Brown for a spectacular opening major score.
When it's all on the line and the big game is there, he comes up with the biggest catch of the game thus far.
It was like this knife in your stomach because this is the biggest event that happens in our country on a yearly basis, and this is the show. We're at the ultimate, the championship, and this guy makes this play.
Most receivers have a catch in their career that is something like that, but not in a Grey Cup game.
To do that with an oblong ball, that's something. Eddie, you're the man.
Eddie Brown, tremendous concentration in bad conditions.
He must have been involved in some of those hacky sack games because he was pretty good with the feet here too.
I mean, to do that on one foot on a slippery surface, be able to have the idea of kicking the ball back to you, whether that was his idea or not, but to have the motor skills to go down and grab the football in a big game like that was amazing.
November rolls around, and the Grey Cup comes around, the playoffs, I get it all the time. I get it from neighbors, I get it from people at work. I get it all the time. Guys call me and say they see it on television. It's pretty neat. Now my children get to see it, and they can't believe it.
When you see it in slow motion and you watch the artistry, it really is poetic to watch, especially since we won the game.
We've counted down 9 of the best plays in Grey Cup history, but one stands above the rest.
The poetry, elegance, this was theater.
That might have been the best I've ever seen.
What play earned those reactions, but still wasn't enough to win the big game? We uncover the best play in Grey Cup history next. Welcome back to the show. You know, for every Grey Cup hero, there is also heartbreak. I will never forget last year being in Calgary's McMahon Stadium, the Rough Riders going at it with the Montreal Alouettes. Looked like Saskatchewan was going to win the Grey Cup, and then they get called for too many men. One fan base devastated, another fan base elated. It's not the first time it's happened, won't be the last. Here are 3 heartbreaking finishes, beginning with the 1971 Toronto Argonauts.
Grey Cup 71, Calgary 14, Toronto 11.
We now have a chance to be able to go in and score. Leon had been so unbelievable for us, we figured we could sweep him.
McQuay sweeping left, slips, fumbles the ball. Reggie Holmes recovers for Calgary.
The ball come loose, and I yelled, "The ball's loose, the ball's loose." And Reggie jumped on it. End of story.
I know Leon was disappointed. I was just downright pissed.
McQuay heads toward the goal. Then the costliest fumble of the year.
It certainly was one of the most heart-wrenching moments in my life when I turned around and saw that thing on the ground.
We lose the game by 3 when Leon fumbles. To this day, Leo still believes that the ground caused the fumble.
I know Toronto says the ground caused it. Maybe it was his sloppy handling of the ball that caused it.
Stampeder fans have waited 23 years for this moment.
We went from great moments of elation to great despair in the fact that we let something very special get away.
Paragelli sets the stage for the game-winning field goal. Don Street has a 19-yarder to wrap it up. It all comes down to this.
I'm on the field goal team. I'm one of the wing guys, and I'm going, all right, we're going to win the Grey Cup.
But Jones has trouble with the snap. Sweet misses. He misses. Edmonton wins the Grey Cup.
I think it went through the holder's hands. He said that it floated from the snap. I'm not really sure. All I know is that the ball I went to kick was flat on the ground. It got up and it was leaning forward, and we missed it.
After 19 years, the Grey Cup goes back to Edmonton.
When you lose a Grey Cup like that, it's like you were never there.
And now for the win. It's to go from the doghouse to being a hero, and he's missed, but there are markers down. Penalty markers down all over the field.
Illegal substitution, too many men on the field, Saskatchewan.
Let's count them, 10, 11, 12, and 1 in the end zone. That makes 13. Paul LaPolice cannot believe it, and neither can, I'm sure, an entire province. And now, Duval gets a second chance to win the 97th Grey Cup. Ball down, ball through, first, it looked like the Rough Riders had won the Grey Cup, only to unbelievably have 13 men on the field.
True heartbreak for the Green Riders in 2009. But for Saskatchewan fans in 1987, they were smiling. The Ticats and the Rough Riders met in what a lot of people perceive to be the greatest Grey Cup game ever played. The Riders and Ticats took turns scoring, and in the end, it came down to a Dave Ridgway last-second field goal, giving Saskatchewan the win. But the best play in the game was a crazy catch by Hamilton's Tony Champion. A ridiculous grab, especially when you consider the circumstances that surrounded it.
1989 Grey Cup game, and Saskatchewan again leads by 7, 48 seconds remaining. Third down.
They snap the football. I'm playing deep on DiPietro and then come off the ball as I see it in the air, and I know exactly where it's going. It's going to Tony Champion.
Hamilton into the end zone. Touchdown!
I can't believe he caught that ball. That's a great catch.
And the Ticats celebrate as they have come back to tie with 44 seconds left.
Man, that was insane! Everybody knows this catch. What you talking about? He contorted it. He could have been a contortionist. He contorted his body, leaned back, the athleticism, the poetry, elegance. This was theater. It was gymnastics. It was, well, it was the best football you can possibly play at the most important time in the biggest game. This catch was out of sight.
When he laid out to make that great catch, I remember for a split second becoming a fan of the Canadian Football League and a fan of this catch, and I thought that might have been the best I've ever seen.
Watch the ability of Champion. Jumps, spins in the air, and pulls it down. You don't do it any better. What a great catch.
I didn't know he was hurt because he caught a pass on the sideline, and I gave him a shot as he was going out of bounds, and I could hear him. I could hear him in pain.
You played the last quarter with broken ribs, you say?
The whole game.
The whole game?
Yeah, I broke them in the first. But just like I said, like, this is a Grey Cup game. And you have to go out there and play your best at all times. Just like I said, like somebody could have shot me and I was still going to play.
Knowing the story of that game and knowing, what Tony played with in that game just makes it even more unbelievable.
I've never seen anybody do what he did to his body, and then the concentration, the focus, the catch.
I tell you, I'll never forget that Grey Cup championship. What a win by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. What a game by the Ticats. From all of us here, thanks for watching the show, folks. We'll see you again. Bye-bye for now.